Hello, Dan Fowler here again with the Amigos Mine Operating Company. I wanted to give you all a little bit more information on our GBM80 turnkey gold mine project. Today we're going to have some video clips, be able to show you actually the wash plant in operation. Also, we'll be able to go over the property assay that was done, describe how it was done, and show you actual photos of the gold that was recovered during the assay itself. Here we have the wash plant in operation. With the current water pump that's set up with it, it can process up to 30 cubic yards an hour. You can see there's several stages to it. The first stage is a large hopper. You can talk to anybody you want to that's in finance. Everyone's saying gold is going to climb, going to keep climbing. As long as there's financial turmoil in the world, gold is going to keep climbing. You ask anybody in finance, they're worried about the euro. Several people have already told us, that if the euro fails, gold will be $5,000 an ounce overnight. Other economic troubles and all the war and stuff like that's going on in the world, people cling to gold. And gold has never been worth nothing. As you can see by the charts I have, they're a little bit dated. It's actually showing 1583 for gold. Actually, today gold was at 1693. It varies a little bit. By the 5-year chart and the 20-year chart, you can definitely see how gold has risen in the last several years. If you look at the picture on the right, it shows 103.80. Those are carats, not ounces or grams, but that was a coarse gold that was screened off during the owner's assay of the property. Picture on the left, that's more of the fine gold that was actually found during the assay of the property. What most of it looks like up there, the smaller stuff. You see the larger round buttons. The bigger ones there are 1 ounce gold buttons. This is what happens to the gold after it's melted down. After you melt all the small stuff and purify it, and to the crucibles, you have what's left over, and they're called buttons. The 3 bigger ones are 1 ounce buttons. Those are just for reference sizes. In the next page, we're going to be showing you the actual buttons that the owner got from the survey of the property, where 7 test holes were dug, and the 7 results from the 7 test holes. I'll review the pictures and the gold that's in them. Let me give you a little background. The owner had been digging pretty much in one localized area and wanted to have a better picture of what the gold looked like all over. He was thinking about expanding the operation. So on the property, what he did is about every 300 yards apart, he dug a hole. Now he dug each one of these holes about 20 foot deep. Out of each one of these holes, he removed 3 yards of material. And once they dug up the 3 yards of material, what they did was they kind of mixed it all up, stirred it to get a good sampling, and then took 1 yard of material from each one of the sites. Now they took the 1 yard of material, brought it down and processed it out, concentrated it out, and got about 8 pounds of concentrate from that cubic yard. That's your black sand and your gold. Out of that 8 pounds of concentrate, they run it through a screen, about the size of your window screen that you'll have on your average windows, and that's what they screened off the coarse gold. That was on the previous page we showed you on the right-hand side. So that coarse gold is not even included in these buttons and in the assay at all. That's totally separate. As you can see, there's 7 smaller buttons. These were the results of the fire assay. When they took the concentrates and melted the stuff down, burning off all the impurities, they were left with these pure gold buttons, 24 karat gold buttons. Don't know how many of y'all are familiar with it, but it takes actually 31.1 grams to make 1 troy ounce. Just a little bit of background so y'all can do the math yourselves. Now you can see the first button weighed 5.77 grams. It'd take about 5 of these to make a troy ounce. So you can see from that 1 cubic yard of that first test hole, it was actually about 1/5 of an ounce of gold was recovered in that 1 cubic yard of material that was processed down. The second hole, they found 6.53 grams of gold in the 1 cubic yard of dirt out of hole number 2. Hole number 3, 6.63 grams from the 1 cubic yard out of hole number 3. Each one of these pictures on this page and the page following it, that's exactly how it was done. Each one of the cubic yards from each one of the test holes was processed down, and you can see in grams how much gold was recovered per cubic yard. Total gold recovered during this assay was 50.7 grams of gold total. Again, that was total, including the coarse and the fine gold, from 7 yards of material. 1 yard from each one of the test holes. If you average it out between all of it, it looks like you come up with about 7.24 grams per cubic yard. If you want to be a little bit more conservative, since the 3 cubic yards was mixed, and just call it a 21 yard survey, then that would bring it down to 2.41 grams per cubic yard, which actually calculates out a little bit better than most of my average estimates of. It actually calculates out to 0.077 ounces of gold per cubic yard on average. And here's the results from the 3 remaining test holes. As you can see, the one is very good, 12.02 grams per cubic yard. That's actually out of the area where the owner-operator is currently digging. And again, we estimate the total acreage multiplied by the depth to get the total cubic yards of material, with gold-bearing material stuff left up there to process. My calculations of this is actually coming out to still be 252,000 ounces of gold left on the property. And at $1,600 an ounce, that's about $403 million worth of gold. And like I said earlier in this little presentation, gold today was at $1,690 something. And here's a still shot of the wash plant itself. Again, with a water pump and everything, the way it's set up right now, 30 cubic yards an hour is what it can handle. As you can see right there, it's still the 3 stages. You got the hopper, then you got the next stage, and then the final stage with the final sluice box. There's a conveyor belt that goes off to the side that all the large trash rock and stuff like that get carried off to the side and out of the way. And the water is continually recycled. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to us and view this video and hopefully the other, and hopefully our website also. If you have any other questions, please ask. Somebody asked the other day, said, hey, when the property becomes unprofitable, what happens then? It's simple. It's in the partnership agreement. When this property becomes unprofitable, we'll sell the property, the equipment, everything that's up there, and the investors will get the same split as before. It's a 65-35 split of what we make off the sale of the property. Now again, as it calculates out, and as you can see, it doesn't look like this is going to happen for 30 to 35 years. Gold is going to have to, the bottom's going to have to plumb drop out, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. If we continue to wait, as the price of gold keeps climbing, the price of the mine is going to keep climbing. We can get the investors together today, we can purchase it at a very reasonable price, considering the amount of gold, equipment, and everything else that's up there. Again, this is the ground floor of an opportunity that's going to last 30 to 35 years. How often have you asked yourself, I know I have in the past, man, I wish I could have got on the ground floor of this, just the opportunity was never there to do so. Here's the opportunity. We've got the investment structure fixed where it's relatively small risk. If people just want a small bite of the project, they want a bigger bite, it's bigger risk. If with all the information we've shown you, the assay, the gold buttons, the calculations, the proof the mine does exist itself. If you still don't believe it, then there's probably nothing I can do to convince you otherwise. The sun's going to rise tomorrow. Can I prove that? No. Had a pretty good track record so far the last millions of years, but I can't prove the sun's going to come up tomorrow. There's gold on this property. We can make money with this property. All we got to do is get the investors together, purchase it, and start operating it. Thank you for your time and consideration. Again, my name is Dan Fowler, the owner of the Dos Amigos Mine Operating Company, and we do appreciate your time and interest. If you have any questions, please call or contact us through our website at www.thedosamigosmineoperatingcompany.com. Again, thank you very much for your time and consideration, and I hope you have a wonderful day.